Bienvenidos a la previa número 35. ¿Cómo estamos, David?
¿Qué pasa, Pedro?
Pues aquí ya tenemos episodio 35. Dijimos, o dijiste que no íbamos a hacer más en inglés. Y entonces te tengo que decir otra vez, what's up, David? ¿Cómo te
WhatsApp, Pedro.
enfrentas a esta entrevista otra vez con otro de los héroes del ascenso?
Bueno, debo decir que esta me ha pillado un poco más desprevenida, así que no me ha dado tiempo a asimilarlo del todo. A ponerme nervioso para hablar inglés,
David,
así que...
yo lo único que lo hago es para que tus cursos de inglés, que tanto dinero y esfuerzo te han costado, pues se vean reflejados y la gente pueda
Aquí,
ver el nivelazo.
como esta semana, lo único que viene sorpresa tras sorpresa.
Y seguimos sin patrocinador, David. O sea que eso es
De
algo
verdad.
que tenemos que buscar porque tiene patrocinador todo el mundo, menos nosotros. O sea que el objetivo antes de final de año es tener un patrocinador que aunque sea nos pague una cervecita en una previa.
Bueno, lo que sí es cierto es que nos estamos acostumbrando a hacer entrevistas a gente muy importante y a nosotros ya no nos quiere escuchar nadie.
Hoy, para la gente que no lo sepa, vamos a entrevistar a un 4 veces campeón de una liga europea, 3 veces campeón de la Copa y uno de los héroes del ascenso del Fundación CB Granada. Así que, sin más preámbulo, le damos paso a nuestro nuevo invitado.
So, hi James, welcome to La Previa. First of all, how is the life in Iceland?
Yeah, Iceland is really up north, cold. It's an adjustment for me, but I've been here, I think, 4 months, 3 or 4 months, and it's been a good experience. So just trying to enjoy each day and stay warm in the meantime.
Let's introduce James for those of you who might not know him. He's one of the heroes of the Granada going to ACV. He was here just 1 year, but he has an amazing curriculum in Portugal where he played for several teams, won 4 league titles, 3 cup titles. So we were really curious about how was your experience in our neighbor country, James?
Yeah, it's like a second home to me. Obviously, played for several teams there and been there for several years. Met some great people. Obviously, won some championships, so that always helps. And then, yeah, it's like every time I go back there, it feels like home. Yeah, I love it there, man. So anytime I go back there, I connect with some of my friends and the good weather, and go back to a great country, and able to see things like I was there before.
Yeah.
Yeah, also you play a lot of years in Europe. You are from Arizona. There is a very big change between Arizona and Europe. How did you start playing basketball there?
In Arizona,
Yes.
well, it all started, I guess, with my family because I'm the youngest of 6 children. 3 older brothers, 2 older sisters, and we all play basketball. Fortunately, I was the one that took it professionally and played in college as well. So it's basically because of my brothers and sisters. I always watched them growing up, played with them growing up, learned a lot from them, and I just developed a love and passion probably at the start of maybe 8 or 9 years old. And then I really took it seriously probably around 14, 15 when I got in high school. So they're the reasons why, my brothers and sisters are the reasons why I continue to play, and my love for the game just kept growing and growing as I got older. So all my family is, they still watch it. They still love the game as well. And like I said, I'm just fortunate to be playing professionally.
We recently had the pleasure to talk to Thomas Ropley, your colleague in Granada, your teammate in Granada. And one of the questions that he was more thoughtful of was the moment when you end university in the US, you want to be a professional athlete. The draft is an option, the D-League is another option. And Europe is like, it's been always that third way for professional players to go and play the game. Few actually has come back. There are examples of players that came to Europe and then they have amazing careers in NBA. But when you kind of cross the Atlantic, it's kind of like a no way back in basketball terms. How was for you that process when you finish university and you decide to take your career to Europe and all that process? How was that?
Well, I think coming from America, all people who play basketball, probably their main goal is to play in the NBA because, it's regarded as one of the best leagues in the world and nationwide. I mean, everyone loves it. So coming out of university, I mean, I'm sure everybody you can ask if it's attainable, their goal is to reach the NBA. For me, I'm coming from a small university, a D2, and in Minnesota. So really, it wasn't an attainable goal, but at the same time, something I was hoping maybe later down in my career I can strive for. But so when I finished after my last year in the university, I was just trying to get a job anywhere, whether it's overseas, minor league, G League, D League at the time, wherever, mostly overseas. So I went home, I trained, opened for an opportunity, spoke to some agents, and then suddenly I was able to land a job in Russia, which was my first job professionally, and that was an eye-opening experience. I heard a lot of things about Russia, bad things, good things. You learn a lot about the business aspect of it, the way the game is played overseas compared to in America or in NBA, and how things are just in general operated there. So it was different for me. I didn't come from a big school or a big university, so obviously my goal was to try to at least play somewhere I can just show myself, my talents, my skills, and kind of grow from there. So yeah.
Then you start your career in the university, and after that you came to Russia. Very big change. And after that you go to Portugal, where you play, I think 6 years, 6 years. Yes. Yeah. How was that way, that change? How was the change from Russia to Portugal?
It was quite different. I mean, different in the sense where when I got to Portugal, I wasn't there at the beginning of the season. Like when they started preseason, I got there like right before the season was about to start. So I was the only American, and so I was basically the guy that they relied on to score, do everything. And so I was playing for a small club out there up north in Portugal, and I was just able to thrive and be me. So that first year was a good year for me. Obviously, in a solid league with about 12 teams, and we finished, I think, in the top 4. We finished 4th, and we went to the semifinals. We lost in Game 7 of the semifinals and playoffs, but I can say it was a good experience for me because I was able to showcase my talents. Overall, all-around game, defensively, offensively, be a creator, a playmaker, play off the ball. I was able to showcase a lot. And so that's what enabled me to stay more years there. And a lot of people liked me out there.
Yeah. From our end, we were really lucky to interview. We like to interview special profiles. We are having our professional careers. We love sports, but we like to interview more special profiles, not the standard player. We were really lucky, fortunate to have Petinian, who explained us like how he came from Senegal, the whole journey to Europe, then to Granada, and all what has been going on. Same for Rofle, how he he started, he didn't get drafted, coming into Europe, and now the great experience, similar to you, like taking the basketball to a completely new level in Japan, not in one of the main leagues. Something that was really special about your profile when you joined Granada, it was a really talented team. We have Jus Costa, we have Brofle, we had Pera Thomas, and so on. But we almost felt that you were raising the maturity of the team. You were more aware, more like understanding I don't know if what you said before, the business side of the industry, or if it's something of that nature, but you look to us a little bit more mature in your game and mature in the way that you were able to translate that into the field. How was for you that amazing year in Granada, and what did it mean for you to bring the team to ACB?
Basically, when I got there, obviously, I mean, for me, I've always wanted to play in Spain because I hear, Spain's always quality teams, good basketball. So my goal was always to play in Spain. So once I knew I was signing there, I didn't know what I was going to be. I didn't know how I was going to be. So I had a lot of questions. And then once I got there, because I got there once again prior to the season starting, I got there later in preseason, so I missed training camp. And the team was already set. I got there, I think, end of September, early October, around there. So they already had, roles established. The coach, Pablo Pin, he was already set on, who's going to be what. So once I got there, he spoke to me. He's like, hey, we have already 2 scorers. We have a point guard that's have a lot of experience. And we just need you to, to do the little things, defend, play off these guys and kind of fit in. So I was like, okay, that's fine for me, because in the season before, I was in Sporting.
Yep.
And in my club in Sporting, I had a similar situation where I kind of had to adjust my role. Became more of a defender. And that was probably one of my strengths, defending. And I was cool with that. So I just took that role seriously, knowing that we had guys that can already score, guys that playmaker, with Christian Diaz and Luis Costa. So my job was just to kind of fill in what the team needed and provide, an energy coming off the bench. And I was okay with that.
Yeah, it was great to see you in that role.
I don't remember who, but you are not the first guy that told us that one of the best thing of Pablo Pin is that he is playing very clear and very direct the role of each one. And I don't remember who explained to us that.
I think it was Bettinian, that he had the discussion during the summer when they signed Felicio, that he was like, look, we are signing a Chicago Bulls center. You're gonna get these minutes. You want to go for the challenge or not, but you're special for us, but you need to understand the role.
And this year you have a new role. Well, that year was an amazing year for us, that season, to reach to ACB. How will you define that season? How will you remember that season?
Man, we finished. It was a success. I mean, we finished as champions. So, I mean, there's nothing more you can ask for as a team. And like I said, coming in, Coach Pablo Pin, he made it clear, like, hey, each player has their own role. And me specifically, he told me what I needed to do. And as long as I'm clear with that, for me, I can, go ahead on, and do it to the best of my ability to play my role. So that season was a success, playing with those guys like Tomas, Petit, Luis, they all have experience playing in the Spanish league. So it just only helped me because, I didn't have to be one of the leaders or one of the guys that had to coach, younger guys. They were already well established. And so it made my job a lot easier in terms of just going in there and filling in whatever the team needed. Because I know I'm capable of being an all-around player. So I can fill in a lot of things, like I can play make, I can defend. I can, play off the ball. So, and it helped. Everyone did their role specifically well. We were able to win the league. So it was great.
I especially remember, and we were talking to Brofle about it, the game where you were in playing in the Cup, in the Spanish Cup. You lost in Madrid, and how you took that game moving forward, and you founded the great season around that game. I have been a season holder for many years in Granada, and the first time that I felt we are back is the home game that you play late in the November timeframe at home against them. That was the first game that I felt like we are back in professional basketball. This is like supporters from Madrid coming and everything. But the real game where I saw like this is the team that will not suffer like last year in that loss in the last game at home was that day in Madrid 1 week after you lost. How was that game for you, and how do you think it defined the season?
So that game we lost, I believe it was the Cup game, right?
Yeah, the Cup game, yeah.
So there's a lot of emotions, a lot of emotions going into that game because obviously, it's a Cup, and I don't know what the history of Granada winning that Cup is, whatever, but we were all excited to be in it and to be playing against, Estudiantes, which is a good team, obviously. I mean, we were like, we were just ready and prepared, and then obviously when we got there, we lost a close one. I think it was by 1 or 2.
Yeah, by 1 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, it was a close game. So a lot of emotions coming from that game, and I was just like, man, I know we can beat this team. Like, we done it before, and we just have to like stay focused. I know we had a long road ahead. So coming into that game the following week, I was like, man, we watched film actually. We watched film like a few days prior, and we were just you can tell like little things we weren't focused on, like the personnel, the team, the players of the team, not paying attention to their plays, and we made a lot of little mistakes, which costed us the game. So I knew coming into that next game, I was like, all right, look, I'm going to be ready, whatever. Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure like. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to make sure these guys do their best too. So going into that game, man, I was just like focused, and I was like trying to be aggressive, and I didn't want to leave nothing for like failure. You know what I'm saying? So going to that game, I just went in like full 100% concentrated and focused, and fortunately we were able to win a huge win, and I think that's what kind of separated us down towards the second half of the season. And yeah, it felt pretty good to get that win and revenge.
After the Cup and that game, closing the deal, last game, you won the league and went to ECB. Of course, you don't remember, but we have a picture with you.
We send it to you right now.
Yeah, let me see that.
The celebration. How was that feeling? Thinking, okay, goal achieved. Oh man, that for us it was amazing. We're amazing. I don't know for you.
No, I mean for me, like so. I honestly had like a reflection moment when it all happened. Because first of all, we didn't have to go through playoffs, which was amazing. Winning the regular season, you don't have to face Marcus over there in Girona, and the rest of the guys again. So it was almost like a relief. You know what I mean? So that was incredible. And then when the celebration happened, man, I just had a reflection moment of like, wow, I won my 4th consecutive championship. You know what I mean? Because I won obviously 3 in Portugal with 2 different teams, and then coming in Spain, like, I mean, I had goals of like winning the league too, but everything just kind of happened so fast. And so when the celebration happened, man, I felt like a sense of relief. I felt like really, really happy, proud of myself, and like honestly, it was a kind of like a moment of like I just couldn't believe what just happened. You know what I mean? Obviously, throughout the season, you have a good team, feeling like you compete, but then when it's there, it's like, wow, it feels like incredible. This feeling, you know what I mean? So definitely a great moment. And I did realize how big of a moment it was when we started to do the parade and go to the town hall in the city.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I realized all the supporters, all the people that really, support the basketball team. You felt that energy. You know what I mean? Talking to the mayor, going to the town hall, like I said, Everybody saying, yeah, thank you and all that, complimenting us throughout the season. It felt it felt really good to be respected and to win that title. You know what I mean? So amazing feeling playing with those guys, the coaches, the staff, everybody, man. Throughout that year, it was just incredible. Great professionals.
Yeah, from my side, talking more a little bit of business of basketball, summer come, I'm a good friend of a journalist, a sport journalist here in Granada, and he's following the team closely. And I'm like, for me, it was like Ellisor and 10 more. And he tells me, no, he doesn't have an European passport. I was like, what? Like, he has been in Portugal for so many years. Like, and with his profile and how smart you were playing, understanding that you could do 15, 20 points maybe per day regularly, but you had to adapt and defend and increase the defense levels on that team where other players such as Luis Costa or Christian Diaz, they're less physical, and increasing that and knowing when to, your efficiency in shooting was incredible. Like, I was checking it the other day during that whole year. I was like, he can be a great role player here in ACB. So I was extremely surprised when I got to know he didn't get a Portuguese passport while in Portugal, and I was like, oh man, because you see there are players like Rofle that they have European passports or Europe-based passports, and they can develop this career. And that was for me a big surprise, because for me you were one of the for sure players moving into ACB. How was that moment for you, winning that right to be there and moving back to Portugal?
Well, for me, I would have been happy if I would have stayed, because that's like a goal of mine too, to play in ACB. That's like the top league outside the NBA, like in the world, I feel like. So to have that opportunity would have been awesome. So honestly, I was a little sad and disappointed, but I understand the business side, because Pablo Peng, it's the first. I mean, they're going into ACB, so they have to kind of reinvent the roster, get new players, get guys that can compete, or guys that have experience. So I was understanding of that, but yeah, man, I was hoping at the end of the season, when thinking about going for next season, I was like, man, I hope I can play in ACB, but unfortunately, if I don't have the passport, and I understand, they have to get new players. So yeah, that was tough. But going into that next season, I went to Benfica in Portugal, and similar situation as far as when I went to Granada. My role was pretty much defined when I got there, because the team already had won the championship the previous season at Benfica. And so going into that season, I had to be one of the guys, the glue guys, that kind of, the energy guy, the guy that plays defense, the guy that does the little things, you know what I mean? Because they had already scored, had their big man, and they had the majority of their team coming back from the last season. So my goal, or my job or role, was to kind of just plug in the holes, whatever they needed. And I think more so defending, playing off the ball, and kind of being that energy guy to help the team, in certain situations or in key moments in games. And so we had a veteran team. Guys were really experienced. We had guys who played many years professionally, guys who played in different countries, guys who won championships, many championships, and probably the most talented team I played on, as far as from the one all the way to the big, the point guard to the center position. We had like at least 10, 11 guys that can play every game. So, and then we had, I believe, 6 foreigners. So really, really stacked squad in terms of talent, in terms of ability, a lot of versatility. So I played at 3 positions, sometimes at 2, even in 4, the power forward position. So I did a lot to help the team win. It wasn't easy around this time that year. We had some bumps around the road, because some guys got injured, some guys were were down in the middle of the season, and I was able to help the team pick back up. I would say like in the middle, almost towards the end of the season, as we won the championship again. So to win my 5th championship there was amazing, and another reflection moment, just to think about how blessed I've been to be able to win that many championships in a row, which is really, I can't even tell you, really difficult. Every game, every season for that long is tough. And so, yeah, it was a great experience. And I played with a great group of guys.
And and then how is that call from your agent or the process to get into Iceland? Like when we were checking your webpage of your club, it was like even impossible to find the roster. We were getting all your statistics about this year, like over 15 points, 20 points in international webpages, but we wanted to get a picture for the interview and everything. And we went, and this is a huge club with many teams, with from female teams to male teams. It was crazy. For a person that we really hope to see you once in ACV, but when you get your phone and your agent tells you, hey, there's this option to go to Iceland, how was all that process, and how did you took the decision, like this is the best for me personally and professionally?
Yeah, man. So I have a crazy journey, like to be honest with you, man, from start to up until now. But to answer that question, so I didn't get to Iceland until October. So I missed preseason and the first two games of the season. So I'm back home during the summer, training, preparing for, what's next. So I'm out here, calling my agent. I'm contacting my agent in the meantime, trying to see like, okay, hey, what's going on? Do I have any offers? And this is around July, August. I'm talking to him. He's saying, no, there's no teams that are out there that really I feel like you can play for and have a impact on. Granted, there were maybe like one or two teams from countries that I could have played and signed, but I chose not to because the situation I don't think would have been beneficial for me going forward. So, August went by, September, I'm still training at home, and still I don't have anything. And so at this point, I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I have like a bad rep, coming in from anybody or anything like that. And so, yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that time. And then all of a sudden, I think in around middle of October or early October, early to mid October, I finally got a call from a team in Iceland out here. My agent had told me, yeah, this team is ready to offer. They're in need of an American that can, do everything basically and kind of carry the team at the same time. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. It's my only opportunity, at this time, and it's late. I went for it, and yeah, and that's how I got here. And right now we're not doing too well. When I first got here, we kind of hit a run. Like we won 4 consecutive games, and then since the beginning of this calendar year, since January started, the new year, we kind of hit a stretch of winning, losing, winning, losing. We're playing like 500 right now, so we're trying to get ourselves out of this rough stretch as we have about 6 games left. But so far, I've been able to kind of help the team be that guy, whether it's scoring, defending, whatever, and be one of the main focal points of the team to help them. So I'm trying to do that. And, yeah, that's how my story is kind of from going to Portugal to Iceland. I know it's kind of strange, but, yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
You need to say to your agent, like, next team, please, with training camp.
Yes, we have some short question before finish, but I have a question that what said your family when you say, okay, I will go to Iceland?
They looked at me like I was crazy because, who thinks of basketball in Iceland? It's like, and then Iceland in general, it's like, it's a country no one really talks about, So, when I told them, hey, I'm gonna go to Iceland, they were like, Iceland? What are you going there for? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I know, it's just another opportunity, so I'm gonna try to take it and make the best of it. So they were kind of surprised about it, but at the same time, they're excited for me because it's obviously another opportunity for me to play somewhere, do well. So, yeah.
And psychologically need to be really hard to jump into a team after training camp where everybody understands their role, they're jealous of their minutes, and then you come with a really specific role, great CV, and a kind of can do everything kind of player. So I can believe that for landing in a team, not having that chemistry that is usually built through the preseason or the training camp, coming in and taking some of their minutes, it has to make you think bigger than just yourself and trying to land into the team, which might not be an easy exercise, definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like whenever I come to a team, especially when I went to Granada, I felt the same way. I felt like since I came there late, I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. So I kind of just wanted to fit in. And thankfully, like I told you guys, Coach Pablo Penn, when I had a meeting with him first day I got there, he's like, look, we need you to do this. This will be your role for the season. And, just do your best. And I was like, great. As soon as he told me that, I was kind of more relieved and I was able to do my job without having to, make anyone jealous or step on anybody's toes. Same thing when I got here to Iceland. The coach here already instructed, like, we need somebody like your caliber to do this and this and this and this. And it kind of just made my transition a lot easier. And, I think right now we all get along well as a team. We just haven't been able to put it together yet. So, yeah.
Well, as I said, you have some short question to finish the interview. We'll like to know how is your experience playing basketball, Sol, Ferrosol. What is the best player you have played with and against?
Man, two tough questions. But to think about who I played with, so I'm sure you guys are familiar with the guy named Trevante Williams. He plays with Moxie Barnessa.
Yeah, we suffered him yesterday.
Okay. So, yeah, I played with him for 3 seasons in Portugal. Played with him for a team up north. I played for in Portugal, Oliveirense. And then I was able to win 2 championships there and then win 1 championship with Sporting with him there. So he's probably one of those guys that you won't consider like an unbelievable talent, but the way he plays, the energy he plays with, his hustle, his grit, he's one of those guys that like gives you energy when things are going down. And I think the championships we won, him and I, with those teams in Portugal, we wouldn't want it without each other. We both needed each other, and I feel like we were the key of winning those championships. So for me, he's probably one of the best players I play with as far as like guys that compliment me and guys that like, kind of fit the team mold of winning. You know what I mean? And also another player, I know it's one person, but I have to bring up another one. Last season in Portugal, I played with a guy named Tony Douglas. He's a point guard. He played in NBA. He plays for several teams overseas, and he's still there now. But he's probably one of the better players, too, I played with. Just because his resume, his talent, he's a great talent. He's really professional. And like I said, he's played in a lot of places. So those 2 guys I played with, probably best players. And you said the second question was who's the top player? Against? Oof.
You play against Margasol.
Yeah, hey, I would say him. But I didn't have to match up against him, so that's kind of tricky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never really defend him. I'm like a guard. He's a center. But yeah, I would mention him in there, but also, okay, so as far as professionally, I would say, Micah Downs. I don't know if you heard of Micah Downs.
Not much.
He's a guy. He plays in Portugal. He played in the NBA. Really talented. He played at Gonzaga years ago, and probably one of my tougher matchups to play against. And then also outside of like open gym run or playing back home, I played against Chris Paul and James Harden. And I can say obviously matched up against those guys. Chris Paul is elite, man. For his size, he has a great post-up game. And yeah, he's a tough dude to guard, man.
We have mixed feelings about Chris Paul. David is one of his biggest fans in the world, And I have a little bit more doubts about him, and because he get injured, it's out of any question. Like his game, how smart he is as a playmaker, it's insane. But I'm always missing, and now this year in Golden State, he has not found his place. But for David, is one of his best players. I have been hearing about Chris Paul since year one.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Yes. Well, next question was about the defense, but you just answered one of them. So the last one: who is the best defender that you have ever faced?
Man. So
James Harden, no.
So once again, like this is during the summer when I play like against other professional athletes. I played against some NBA guys too, and I played against Patrick Beverly.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. And like obviously you see him on TV, but like his intensity, you know what I mean? Like it's really intense. And this was like years ago, probably like I want to say almost 9 or 10 years ago. But he's intense, man. Like quick, great hands, feet, active feet. And he like what you see on TV, what you see he does on TV, he does exactly like how he plays, like in person too. So I would say the toughest defender I played against is him. And I only played against him a little, but from that short time, like you can see how intense he is, how quick, how active he is. Like he's good, man.
It's intensity. Sure. When they qualified last year to playoffs, he was insane. He lost it completely in the stadium. But the years before in Clippers, like the wars against the Lakers, against everybody, like how he was coming at the face of the players, kicking the floor while the player will come to him. It's insane. It's one of the players that you definitely will remember if you will face him once in a court. And then what's next? James, after Iceland, we know you're fully centered in Iceland right now, but how do you envision? I'm sure if I will have asked you 1 year, maybe you will not have said that today you will be in Iceland, but what's next? You're open, you are looking for something in particular. What do you think will be next?
I mean, as far as my career is gone, it's like after every year is like, it's a mystery. So I can imagine it's going to be the same after this season. Who knows? I have no idea what's going to happen. We'll see as the season goes along how that goes. And I'm open to anything, obviously. I would like to go somewhere warm, maybe come back to Spain, maybe to Portugal. You never know. I do enjoy those places. Being in Granada was always a great experience. Obviously, Portugal is like a second home to me, so familiar with that. But if I can play somewhere in a nice country, where it's warm, where there's beaches, great people, good basketball, I'm okay with it, man, at this point, because I do always want to compete against some of the best and obviously want to win a championship, as every player would want. So I want to be on a good team with, good players, good environment, and just good situation and good weather.
And if we ask you, as part of your great experience, to leave some words for the Spanish fans in Granada, for your great season, will you be able to say a few words in Spanish for us?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. That's kind of difficult. Man, because right now all I got in my mind is Portuguese.
You can mix it.
I've been there for so long.
You can mix Portuguese and Spanish.
Honestly, I can't even remember if I were to speak. I mean, can I tell you in English?
Yeah, in English is fine as well.
In English, a message for Granada supporters.
Well, all right, for the supporters in Granada, wish you guys well this season. I hope you guys continue to improve and do better and do well, and hopefully finish the season strong. And if you guys need another player for next season, I'll be around. I'll be available. I'll be happy to come back and try to help the team, do well. But in the meantime, I thank you for the experiences we had with the ascension to the ACB. Played with a great group of guys, and Yeah, man. I always have love for that city, for the team, and I do miss it.
Thank you. We can say from our end, we thank you for everything you did, for being such an unselfish player, thinking about the bigger goal and always putting yourself at the service of the club. We are sure that we will not be in ACB without you. There was a team play and everybody was important in that team, but you were always there and bringing that level of maturity to the team that from outside especially was really obvious, and you help us a lot. So for those of us that still are here in Granada and we can enjoy ACB, we want to thank you and hope that whatever life brings you, it's with a lot of success and a lot of luck and health.
Man, thank you. I appreciate for the opportunity to talk to you guys, and those words, man, I definitely feel respected there. So thank you for the time, and like I said, I do appreciate my time there. And
it was a pleasure.
It was a true pleasure.
Yes, most definitely. And do they even have my jersey there, or have a jersey?
I don't know.
There or not?
I don't know. Because I was actually, when I will tell you something. We met Pablo Pin one day, and I was wearing this T-shirt, this jersey, and he told me like, "Is it for Ellisor?" And I was like, "I think he was the 34, not the 24." And I was checking with David, and I said like, 34. It was the 34. So I don't know. I'm sure that they have all the jerseys in the club. If I go now because I need to go pick some, I will ask them if they have your jersey, and we will take a picture with it.
That would be great, man. That would be so great. But I know they have probably now that they're in ACB, they have the guys there playing for the team now, their jersey. Yeah, it would have been nice to know, like, okay, hey, Ellisor's jersey's still around, you know.
I will go and definitely ask, and I will send you the picture if we manage to get it. So it was
cool, man.
It was, as I said, we have our professional lives, but when we select who we talk to, we are always looking for the story. And when we were with Roleplay, and when we were with you today, or other players that we had, we interviewed the American Football Club from Granada, which is a really low-profile American football club. We like a lot of American sports, but your profile is so great to see, like where life has brought you, and we are really thankful that you spent today this hour with us, despite the IT difficulties. And
yeah, sorry about that.
I know, and it's totally fine. And from La Previa, whenever you come to Granada, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to grab a coffee and know where life is bringing you next.
Most definitely, man. I'll try to go back there and visit soon. And when I do, I'll let you guys know. So
that's great.
Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Previa. And good luck with the season and whatever life brings you next. James, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
I'll stay tuned to you guys, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Heavily appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All right. See you guys.
See you. Thank you, James.